Good afternoon, students. In this lecture, we are going to see about this advanced RISC machine, otherwise said to be ARM. Otherwise said to be ARM. ARM is said to be advanced RISC machine. So, before going in detail about the advanced RISC machine, namely ARM, we will discuss about what is mean by RISC and its features. Okay. So, coming to the RISC, introduction to a RISC machine. Okay, RISC is nothing but reduced instruction set computer. RISC is nothing but reduced instruction set computer. And what are the features of the RISC machine? What are all the features of the RISC machine are? RISC machine will have instructions, very much simple instructions. Okay, instructions are very simple in RISC machine and they are less in number. Since the instructions are simple, so the decoding hardware for such instructions will be simpler. Decoding instructions for such instructions, hardware for such instructions will be simpler. So if the hardware circuit is simpler, the circuit will occupy less space. Otherwise, I can say the level of the circuit will be minimum. So if the circuit is minimum, it occupies less power dissipation. You have less power dissipated by the circuit. Okay. You have lesser number of instructions, otherwise I can say that you have simple instructions. So the execution time will be lesser. So put together, I can say you have simple instructions, you have simpler hardware circuit. Since the circuit is simple, power dissipation is simple, and the cost, since the circuit is simple, the cost of the circuit is also simple, and the space occupied by the circuit is less, and the weight of the circuit is also lighter. Okay, this is about introduction of a RISC machine. I repeat, RISC machine is said to be reduced instruction set computer. Okay, otherwise reduced instruction set computer. This RISC machine is also popular. Okay, it is also popular. And discussing about the properties of a RISC machine, namely your reduced instruction set computer. There are few major rules that has to be being implemented in the RISC philosophy. So they are, I have highlighted that in the maroon color. So what are all the major design rules that has been followed in the RISC machine is, one is instruction. Okay, number one is instruction, number two is pipelines, and number three is registers, and finally you will be having your load and store architecture. I'll discuss each one of them now. So the instructions, coming to the first main category. So the instructions, as I have discussed in the previous slide, you have few instructions, you have relatively few instructions, and with the help of these instructions, many different programs can be constructed. As like your CISC architecture, CISC is nothing but a complex instruction set computer. In complex instruction set computer machine, we need dedicated instructions for specifying certain operations. But in RISC machine, it is not like that. The same instructions can be used for different programs or for different applications. I can use the same instructions. Okay. So instructions are simpler, and few number of instructions we have, and these instructions can be executed in a single machine cycle. See, we have discussed 8051 microcontroller also, and there in 8051 microcontroller is an example of complex instruction set computer machine. There, what you have for the instructions while you are calculating your delay routine, your decrement jump on non-zero instruction carries 2 machine cycle, and whereas move instruction has 1 machine cycle. I have said like that, and it may be a single byte instruction. You may have a 2 byte instructions. 2 byte instruction means it will occupy 2 lines of your memory, whereas single byte instruction will occupy single line of your memory. But for executing those instructions, you may have you may need to use multiple machine cycles in case of 8051. Okay, in case of 8051, as like your decrement jump on non-zero. But here in reduced instruction set machine, reduced instruction set computer machine, instructions are simpler, but it can be executed in a single machine cycle. It can be executed in a single machine cycle, and since it is executed in a single machine cycle, the execution speed of the RISC machine is higher than the CISC. I repeat, CISC is said to be complex instruction set computer. Complex instruction set computer. Okay. So we have only reduced number of instruction classes here in the RISC machine. And when we are writing a program, using the CISC instruction, CISC instruction, and you will be using multiple instructions for writing a program. Keep in mind, each instruction is having only fixed length. Will be having fixed length, and hence while executing the instruction, decoding of the instruction will be easier. Okay, decoding of the instruction will be easy in case of this simple instructions and same length instructions. Okay. So when I am writing a program, before being executed, first we need to fetch the instruction. We need to fetch this instruction by using a pipeline feature. Okay, I will tell you what is pipeline shortly. So by using pipeline feature, we will be fetching the instruction, decoding, we will decode that instruction and then execute. Okay, and then execute. See, what is mean by pipeline is when you are executing the current instruction, the next instruction will also be fetched. Okay, will be fetched in parallel. For example, if for adding two numbers, let me take move a comma b or add a comma b will be the second instruction. Before that, let me move the data, some data in the A register and the B register. I am talking about the registers. So pipeline is nothing but, for example, if I am taking an addition instruction, so move A comma 08H and move B comma, this instruction I am writing it for an 8051 microcontroller. This is for simply explaining the concept of pipeline, that's all. So 09 and move B comma 09H, add A comma B, okay, AB or add AB. So when I am executing this instruction, or when the compiler is executing this instruction, okay, so I'll first fetch the instruction, decode, and then execute. This is the process of executing an instruction. Fetch, decode, and execute. When move A comma B, let me write this instruction as 1. Okay, this instruction, first instruction, second instruction, third instruction. Okay, when the first instruction is executed, the second instruction will be decoded and the third instruction will be fetched. Okay, so this is said to be pipeline. So parallel process, you will be handling parallel process for executing a program. So I repeat, when you are executing the first instruction, the second instruction will be decoded and the third instructions will be fetched. This process is said to be pipeline. Since we are executing these instructions in pipeline, the execution speed will be more. The execution speed will be more when compared to the CISC. Whereas in CISC, only after executing the current instruction, the next instruction will be fetched, decoded, and executed. So the pipeline is nothing but each instructions or a program can be divided into multiple modules or procedures. You can divide a program into multiple module or procedures. Here, since this program is only having 3 instructions, I have used 1, 2, and 3. But if you have a lengthier program, those programs can be divided into multiple modules or procedure, and for each module, separate register set will be assigned for those modules, and operations will be related to, operations will be done in those modules. Operation will be done in those modules by using this registers, the dedicated register whichever is allotted for them, whichever is allotted for them. So pipeline is this. I'll explain what is meant by pipeline more in detail in the coming slides. And coming about the registers, okay, registers in 8051 microcontroller, you have only few number of registers, namely A, B, and DPTR register, program counter register, timer registers, and those special function registers. You have only certain number of registers, okay. But here you have a large or huge number of registers for processing your data, and all those registers are inherent or inbuilt in your ARM processor, okay, are inherent in your ARM processor itself. So we try to avoid memory related operations in case of your RISC processor. Only if you are placing a data in the memory, okay, in the memory, you need to access the data from the memory for processing it, namely for instead of placing it in the registers A, B, B, I can even take the data from the memory also, and from the memory I can place it in the A. Instead of move A comma B, I can even I can use an indirect addressing move A comma at the rate of RP. So here I am addressing accessing the memory. So those memory access cycles will be bit costlier because separate hardware units has to be constructed in the CISC processors for accessing your memory. But here, since we have huge number of registers, we can store the data inside the memory. And accessing data from in the registers, and accessing data from the register is much easier, and the execution speed will be more. Okay, execution speed will be more. All these registers can act as a local. It will act as a local memory. It's not an external memory. It will act as a local memory. Whereas CISC processor will be having dedicated registers for specific operations. And we have discussed about the instructions, we have discussed about the registers, I have discussed about how we are going to execute a program by using pipeline structure, and the final thing which we are going to discuss is about the load and store architecture. And I said already, data will be held in the registers, and separate load instruction and the store instructions are used for transferring the data between the register and the external memory. Okay, you have dedicated instructions for loading the data as well as storing the data between a register bank and the external memory. Why we are having those sort of instructions? Because memory access are costly, and we need a dedicated hardware for accessing your external memory. Okay, for external memory. So separate memory access for data processing in RISC machine is an advantage, because you can use the data items held in the register banks multiple times without multiple memory access. If your data is held in your, data from the memory, instead of memory, if it is held in the register, memory access can be avoided, and hence CISC design data processing operations, but CISC memory related operation will act on the memory itself. So these are a few features which makes RISC much simpler. Okay, and thus the core of the RISC machine can operate at higher clock frequency, meaning higher execution speed. And RISC machine is hardwired, has a hardwired control unit rather than the microprogrammed control unit. Okay. So I'll tell you what is mean by pipeline and what is mean by hardware control unit, what type of control unit is followed in RISC machine in the coming slides. So coming to the pipeline architecture, and I have said already, a big program will be divided into smaller number of modules or procedures, and for each module we will be allotting specific registers, and those registers will be used by that particular module only. So each module now, the registers that is being allotted for each module, it is again divided into 3 different register sets. Okay, for a particular module, whichever registers that is being allotted, it is divided into 3 different register set, namely parameter register, local register and the temporary register. Parameter register, local register and the temporary register. So what is meant by parameter register is, these are the common register between multiple modules, because we are dividing a big program into many number of modules one after the other, and let me name the modules as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. And or I can tell it as J plus 1, J plus 2, like that. We have n number of modules depending upon the length of the program and how we are dividing the program. Okay, how we are dividing the program for the execution. So for any one module, namely the first module, whichever the registers that is being allotted for the first module, it is categorized into 3 different register sections, namely parameter register section, local register section and the temporary register section. The parameter register section will be common between multiple modules. Parameter register section will be common between multiple modules. So these parameter registers are common registers between multiple modules, and these are used for passing the parameters between modules. Okay, and the common parameters can be shared and it can be used, and it can be passed also. Okay, so the parameter registers is used for that, and you have a local set of registers for keeping the local variable after executing that particular module, and we can save the temporary data in the local registers. So those local variables are kept here inside this local register, but these variables or the data, it is not shared between the subsequent modules of the program. Okay, subsequent modules of the program. Okay, so you have a program. This program is divided into n number of modules, namely module 1, module 2, module 3 and so on, and for each module you will be having 3 dedicated registers. Okay, dedicated registers, and these dedicated registers will be classified into 3 different register sections, namely parameter register, okay, and local register and temporary register. Okay, and temporary register. And the next one is the temporary register. The third section of a particular module is register section of a particular module is said to be temporary register. This is otherwise said to be the caller level register. Okay, caller level register, and this temporary register will act as an input to the next level, because this is module 1. Let it be level J. So similarly, you will be having J plus 1 module. Also, you will be having these 3. Again, you will be having dedicated registers here, and again those registers will be having 3 sections, and from the temporary register of the first module or the J module, and the data can be passed from this temporary registers to the parameter register. Okay. So input, this will act as an input for the next level of your module. Okay, by using your call and the return instruction. So by using your call and the return instructions, you may pass your data into it. You may pass your data into the J plus 1 module. Okay, J plus 1 module. Other than these dedicated registers for each module, you will be having global registers also. You will be having global registers also, where every module can access those global registers for keeping the data into it, for reading the data from it, and reading the data from those global registers, So now I said about level J and J plus 1. The same thing here, you have for each level I will be having dedicated registers. Those registers are classified into three different register sections, namely parameter register sections, local register sections and temporary register sections. And parameter will be common between multiple modules, and it can be shared, variables can be shared, data can be shared and passed. Local register will hold the local data and the local variables. Temporary register will be used in the caller level, and it will be the input to the next level, and you have common registers between the level J, this is level J, and the level J plus 1. These two registers can interact with each other by using your call and return instructions. Okay, as I said earlier, you have global registers also, and you will be saving data into the global registers, or you may even read the data from the global registers, and these registers will be useful for non-adjacent modules. Okay, so non-adjacent for data transfer between non-adjacent modules, global registers can be used. Okay, global registers can be used, right? So I said about hardwired, this RISC machine is hardwired control. It has a hardware control unit rather than the microprogrammed control unit. What is mean by this hardware control unit? Okay, so in a computer system, you will be having one of the component of your computer is your central processing unit, which is said to be CPU, and you have in your CPU you have a control unit, and you have a processor, dedicated processor, you have a memory, and and for that CPU, what are all the components that is being interfaced with the CPU are input output devices, and main memory, and inside you have your arithmetic logic unit, that is your processor here. Arithmetic logic unit, that is your processor here, and you have a control unit in your CPU. For these control units will be used? It is used for generating the control signals, and these control signals will direct the data flow between your CPU and other devices, and it can interact with the ALU and the memory. So generally what you will be doing, what the central processing unit will be doing, it will fetch the instructions from the memory, decode it, execute it, and store the instructions in the memory. This is what your central processing unit will be doing. So here I said you have control unit in the central processing unit. This control unit will be classified into two types, that is said to be hardware controlled and microprogrammed control. This you would have read in computer architecture. I am not going much in detail about your hardwired and microprogrammed control. I am just giving the glimpse of it. Design of control unit can be done by using your hardwired as well as your microprogrammed control. What is mean by that the hardware control unit is, it is implemented by physical components. You have a combination logic circuit and with a memory in the feedback part. Combination logic circuit with memory in the feedback part. Memory is nothing but flip-flop in the feedback part is said to be sequential circuit. So you have a sequential logic circuit which is nothing but the combination of CLC and the flip-flop, and you have a status signal and a clock signal and the instruction register from where your instructions will be fetched, and it is placed in the sequential circuit. Based on the instructions, you will be generating control signals for the CPU. What does this control signal will do? This control signal will direct the data flow between the memory and the between the CPU and the other devices. Other devices may be memory input output devices. Okay, input output devices. This is your hardwired control unit. Because the control signals is generated by the hardware, namely your sequential logic circuit. Okay, and whereas microprogrammed control unit, and see, since this is hardwired control unit, the generation of this control signal will be faster because you have dedicated hardware circuit for this, okay, hardware circuit for it. The main disadvantage of this hardware control unit is you cannot redesign it, because if you want to redesign, you have to touch this entire circuit, namely your sequential logic circuit, and then you have to separately build a dedicated hardware unit for this hardware control unit. Whereas in microprogrammed control unit, these control signals necessary for data transfer between your CPU and other devices will be generated by the program itself. You will be writing program for generating those control signals. It is a program based approach completely, and if you want to do any modifications, we can easily do modifications in the program, so that we can easily generate the control signals, but the execution speed is slow, because it is program based approach, right? So it will take time to execute the program for generating the control signal, and this is the block diagram of the microprogrammed control signal, control unit, okay, control unit. Okay. Before that, before going into detail about the CISC architecture, let me compare the difference between your hardwired control unit and the microprogrammed unit. And this is the parameter. So the control signal will be generated. This is your hardwired control unit, and this is your microprogrammed control unit. And keep in mind, these control units are available in your CPU. Okay, so this is hardwired and this is microprogrammed, and this is your parameters. Okay, as I said earlier, the control signal is generated by the hardware, whereas control signal will be generated by the software in microprogrammed unit. Structure is complex because you have a hardware, and structure is simple because you are writing the code. And cost, if you see, since you are implementing in hardware, the cost will be high, whereas the cost will be low since you are using program based approach. And the speed will be faster because you are using hardware, and the speed will be slow because you are using a program based approach, and the update is difficult to modify because already the hardware is implemented, so it is difficult to modify, but it can be easily updated because you are using program based approach. Control signal will be implemented in hardware by using flip-flop and logic gates, namely flip-flop and combination logic circuit, that is put together said to be sequential circuit, and the control signals, it is being implemented by software based approach, writing the code. Instruction sets, difficult to handle complex instruction set because it's a dedicated hardware and simple hardware, and easier to handle complex instruction set. Okay, and decoding, complex decoding and sequential logic, and easier decoding and sequential logic is followed in your hardware and microprogrammed unit. And where it is used in RISC based machine. Hardware based thing is used in RISC based machine, whereas microprogrammed control unit is used in CISC based machine. It is used in CISC based machine. So that is all about hardware and hardwired and your microprogrammed unit. Okay, microprogrammed unit. So coming to the CISC architecture, so far we have discussed about the RISC architecture and what is the advantage of this architecture, and what are all the some of the advantages, some of the disadvantages of RISC architecture also. Now let me go ahead with the CISC architecture. I said already 8051 microcontroller, it is based on the CISC based architecture. Instructions are complicated here because you have separate dedicated instructions for certain operations, and you have multiple instructions of different machine cycle, and these multiple instructions are required for different operations. Okay, different operations, hence the time required, because the machine cycle is also different, hence the time required for execution will be larger than the RISC based machine. And this is of multiple byte instruction. You have even a single byte instruction. You have from single byte to multiple byte instructions you will be having in CISC architecture. And for occupying these, placing this architecture in the memory, it will occupy more memory bits. And these multiple byte instruction, for executing those multiple instructions and multi-byte instructions, we need a complex decoding circuit, and hence the space occupied by the decoding circuit is larger, and the circuit is heavier, and it will be costlier, and moreover, since the circuit is complex, it will consume and more power. Okay, more power. And why we are reading this all RISC and CISC architecture, and why we are comparing between your RISC and the CISC architecture is, we are going to use the RISC-based architecture in the ARM processor or ARM-based embedded system. First, we will go ahead with ARM-based systems. ARM-based embedded systems is nothing but the main core processor will be your ARM. ARM is nothing but advanced RISC machine. In RISC machine, where I am telling RISC machine, I will be using RISC architecture. That is why I have discussed what is the difference between RISC machine and the CISC machine. Okay. So, coming to the ARM processor, in ARM based embedded system, you will be having ARM as a core processor. You will be having 32-bit ARM processor and 64-bit ARM processor variants that is available for this ARM based embedded systems. And ARM is using RISC, as I said already, the RISC philosophy. We have discussed four different philosophies or four different things that that makes a RISC to be implemented in ARM. The first one is your powerful instruction and pipeline feature, and then load store architecture, and then large register bank, which I have discussed in the beginning of the slides. Okay. So, simple powerful instructions that is being executed in a single machine cycle, and you have reduced complexity of instructions because you have same length of instructions, simple instructions that can be executed in a single machine cycle. So, this can be implemented by using your hardware. This can be implemented by using your hardware. So, the flexibility, that is flexibility and intelligence is or I can say the greater demand is on the compiler only rather than the hardware in case of RISC machine. So, I will compare here between CISC and RISC. RISC machine, reduced instruction set machine in ARM. You have simpler instructions that is used for many operations, and it will be executed in single machine cycle. So, we have greater complexity in the compiler only rather than the hardware. Okay, hardware will be simple here. Whereas in the CISC based approach, you have a variety of instructions from single byte to multiple byte that can be executed in a single machine cycle to multiple machine cycles. So, for that we need, we will be implementing greater complexity in the processor side. In the processor side, for example, in your processor side in case of your CISC machine. In case of your CISC machine, that is the difference between the CISC and the RISC architecture. And this ARM based embedded systems will be using ARM core for different applications, wide range of applications you have for your ARM, starting from your robots, and see here, these are all the handheld devices. Many of the handheld devices like mobiles and robots, and a detector, a frequency detector, and you have a machine like exercise machines and energy efficient applications like that, and many computers, desktop, from starting from laptop to desktop, and your tabs. Okay, so you have n number of embedded based applications, ARM embedded based applications where your ARM core will be used. Okay, with this I'll stop today. I'll discuss more about the ARM and how when ARM processor was invented, and how from the day one till now how it has been evolved to multiple number of processor, that we will see in the next class. Thank you.